Hello everyone, I'm Morgan and welcome to Way of Living podcast, where you will hear empowering women talking about how you shouldn't feel stuck in an unfulfilling career and how to follow your dreams. Life is short. Live it to the fullest, and I hope you will feel inspired by their stories. During the Black Lives Matter movement this summer following George Floyd's death, people started to look into Black-owned businesses to support Black communities. Grace Throwbridge grabbed the opportunity to finally launch the business she'd always wanted to create. Simply Noir is an online marketplace where UK's Black-owned business owners can sell their products. In this episode, Grace talks about her professional journey, her online side business, how to be part of a community, and how Simply Noir started. Hi Grace, how are you?
I'm good, thank you.
Thank you so much for being on the podcast today.
Thank you for having me.
It's going to be very interesting today because you have a curated marketplace where it's only Black-owned businesses that you have on your website. So I'm going to ask you to introduce yourself the way you want to tell us about who you are.
Okay, I'm Grace Throwbridge. I am almost 36, a mother of two. My son is 3 years old and my baby is 6 months. So I had her just before lockdown.
Wow.
So it's been a bit of a challenge. I am also a businesswoman as well. So I've just recently launched Simply Noir, which is a curated marketplace for Black-owned businesses, which I guess we'll talk more about later.
You studied business in law at university, you got your degree, and then you actually went into marketing.
Yes.
Can you talk a little bit about that?
Yes, so I embarked in a career in sales and marketing actually, so it was heavily sales focused. Mm-hmm. After studying, I guess like most 20-something year olds, you don't know what you're going to do. And you know, I did apply for some graduate schemes and they just didn't fit in with me and what I wanted. So I was working in retail at the time while I was studying. And when I moved back to London, because I studied in Wolverhampton, I moved back to London. I went back to the store I was working, the brand that I was working with in uni, and they took me on full time. And my manager at the time just saw something, and she said, "Look, I want to put you on this fast track management program." And this is something that I'd never, ever explored. You know, they gave us targets to sell store cards, and because store cards was a big thing back then. And, you know, I actually thought, you know what, I'm good at this, I'm pretty awesome. And sales was never something that actually entered into my mind. It was never a possibility as a career. You know, so I started my fast track management, and I realized I absolutely loved, I loved everything about selling. It was heavily sales focused back then. I don't think retail's like that at the moment, but yeah, it was very heavily sales focused. And then I also had the element of just nurturing a team and building my own team as well. And that was an aspect that I really enjoyed in management. So after about 2-3 years, I decided that I wanted more. I wanted more sales. I really wanted it to be more heavily sales driven. So I started exploring different careers, recruitment, you know, different careers, and leisure. I saw a sales and marketing manager job in leisure, and this was at the time the first job that I got in leisure was for it was for council, and it was partly run by a council. And I thought, okay, you know, the job specs looked interesting, and you know, that's basically how I started my career. It was amazing, you know. It's not for everyone. Sales is not for everyone, but you know, I felt like I have the gift of the gab, yes, but I also wanted to change how we were perceived in the industry as well. So when I sell, I like to know more about my customers and why what they're looking for and why. So I realised along the way when I was, you know, creating my career, it was more the case, I wanted to change how salespeople are perceived. You know, gone are the days where you had the sales guy knocking at your door, you know, or the suited and booted guy, you know. So I stayed in leisure. I loved it. I stayed in leisure for over 10 years. Then I met my husband and realised we wanted to start a family. And within sales, it's long hours. And I know how I am as well. I used to work till 7 a.m. in the morning and then wouldn't get home until 10 p.m. So it's not flexible whatsoever. And you know, starting a family, didn't talk about kids at this point, but starting a family within being in a sales industry was something that I didn't know how it would work. So yeah, I started exploring different career opportunities, and I moved into operations, which operations is just a bit of everything. So you've got the sales element of it, but you've also got the admin side of things. You know, so it's a bit of everything, and you've also got the team that you're also motivated and, you know, just guiding. So team management side of things, that's a better word. So I moved into operations shortly before I had my son. And then, you know, I did that for a bit, and then I left operations just before I moved, because I lived in London actually. So I just moved to Hampshire last year, November. So I left my job in London and moved to Hampshire and had my baby girl in March. I actually fell into business. I fell into business by accident, you could say. I was on maternity leave with my son back in 2016, and I created a website and I created a platform for mums, basically. So it was for mums to meet other mums in Southwest London. I created events as well. And it was just a nice platform for mums to, like-minded mums, to just get together. It wasn't just for mums as well. At the time, I did it for mums and dads, because I felt like the dads needed support as well. My husband was 41 when we had our son. So his friends had already been parents way back, you know, so he also needed that support as well. So it was for parents to get together and be in an environment that it wasn't formal whatsoever. So I created events and I created this platform, and that was very much a success. And then I went back to work and I was juggling the two side by side.
Oh, I didn't know that. So you had actually a side business. So you started way before Simply Noir. You actually started a website. So you had a little bit like a knowledge. And when you started this parenting, meeting things, did you have any knowledge about how actually blogging and websites worked? No,
not a thing. Apart from obviously being on Instagram, I wasn't a serial social media user at the time as well. I'm quite a bit old-fashioned in that sense. I just didn't see the need to be on social media. So I was occasionally on social media, but I didn't know anything about the blogging side of things. I didn't know anything about how to run, do a website, basically. I'm not techno-savvy whatsoever. So I didn't know anything apart from what I did do is basically I drew on the knowledge of and the things that I have done in the past. So I used to run events as a sales and marketing manager. You run events, so I brought that into the mix as well. And project managing, I did it with operations, so I brought that into the mix as well. So I just looked at my core skills and I tried to blend it into one, basically. And then after that, the things that I didn't know, I obviously outsourced and looked at the people that were best for the job.
So when you started Simply Noir, were you already in maternity leave, or did you have it because you launched this year in the middle of the pandemic in August? But was it an idea that you've had already for a while, or?
Part of it, yes. In terms of being a Black woman, there was it's very hard to sometimes find black businesses to purchase from. You know, I know where the places to go, but other people don't necessarily, you know. And so, you know, my husband's white, and he would always say, like, you know, where do we go for this? Where do we go for my son's products? So I knew that our products weren't exactly accessible, and if we were having that problem, then other people would as well. Yes, I knew the places to go, but other people don't, and that was one key thing. And then I guess also with lockdown, with the tension of lockdown and what happened with George Flyod, you know, really sparked something in me, and it made me think, rather than just wallow and be very upset and be depressed and make it really, you know, I was just so depressed and so down. Rather than doing that, I should do something to help the community. And being that at the time, everyone was looking at how to help the black community, and they were looking at black businesses to purchase.
Yes,
you know, there were so many things around that. And I thought, well, right, this is exactly what I was looking to do before. It was an idea. But if other people are now talking about black-owned businesses and they're wanting to actually patronise them, now is the perfect time to actually do something to make it easy and accessible for people. And it's also training people's mindsets. So I don't know if you've been on the site, but the site's not full of just products that black people can use. There's so many different products. You know, there's so many different products, and it's growing day by day, you know. So it's to make the women that I work with, I mean, it's mostly women actually, are so talented, and it's just to give them a platform to shine, a platform that they necessarily wouldn't have had, and, you know, and just, it's trying to make it mainstream, really. You know, we really want to be mainstream and knock down some doors. And again, with Simply Noir, it's not just a marketplace, it's a community. So in order to be successful and have a successful business, you can have the perfect product, but you need the right tools. So, you know, so there I'm doing, my first event is a digital marketing event, and I'm working with key speakers and professionals to roll out these events as well. So the businesses are, you know, they're not just for our vendors, but our vendors do get a special discount as being a vendor. So they're not only able to sell on the marketplace, they are also able to grow their business and make their business a success. So yeah, that's what Simply Noir is, really.
Yeah, and it looks like a very good website. I went on the website and you have everything: beauty product, homeware, kids stuff, backpacks and jewelries. You have everything, and it's very neat as well. It's beautiful. It's clean, it's clear. I really like it. So if anyone wants to actually purchase something from a black-owned person, woman, because most of them are women. That's amazing, by the way. Go on Simply Noir, because you can find anything and everything, and that's absolutely amazing.
Thank you.
Obviously, a marketplace online is something not very easy to do. It's not just a blog, it's not just a website. It's more complicated than that. Did you have any help to build this?
So I work with a fantastic web designer, and I've worked with her when I launched my parents group. So she knows exactly what I need. She knows exactly my style, my erratic emails at 2 a.m. in the morning. She understands it all. So she, at the time when it was Simply Noir was just an idea, I spoke to her, and she did the research for some platforms to use, and she gave me the best platforms to use, and I went away and then put it out to some networking groups that I'm part of. Number one, doing it for the kids, and mums in business. I just put out, just to get some feedback from other businesses. Which was really, really great, because and that's why these platforms and these groups on Facebook are so good for people that are looking to start a business, because sometimes you can feel so alone and you think, oh my God, if only I had a colleague to bat ideas around with and talk things through. So these groups are so great to use, and I would advise anyone starting out in business to really utilize them. There's so many out there. So yeah, I got some help from ladies in these groups, and they gave me feedback on what they've used in the past and the benefits of using XYZ platforms, and that's how I made the decision. Yeah. Otherwise, I have no clue about tech whatsoever.
Yeah, I think that's a great advice, to actually get a web designer, because sometimes you want to do everything alone because of the money, because of our pride, or because of time. I don't know, but sometimes we want to do everything on our own. But it's okay to ask for help, and to invest in some help as well.
And that is key. You know, I know my strong points and I know my weak points. So, you know, tech is something that I'm not good at whatsoever. So I would only be creating such a headache for me. And I'll be building something that's so not to par. And I know I'm not going to like it. And I don't want to put something out there that is not going to cut it, really. So, you know, I will always advise, always outsource what you can. And also, I mean, do the research. People may think building a website is a significant amount of money, but my web designer costs the fraction of the price of, you know, some people that I see, and I think, wow, you know, and I've been working with her for over 4 years now, and she's a godsend. So yeah, do the research, shop around, get feedback, ask people for help. You may have a friend who's really good at stuff, and you could just, like, you know, who might do it for a fraction of the price. So yeah, I would always say outsource what you can't do.
Yeah. So you said earlier that you're not very good with social media. It took you a long time before you were like, it's actually useful. I'm a little bit the same, actually. I had to start uni a few years ago to actually be like, oh, wait, Twitter, it's something. Very bad with Twitter, by the way, still, but never mind. But for promotions and visibility online, because you were talking about having a community, and Facebook, because it's extremely important. Because it's not like after World War II, when people were opening shops in the streets and there was a community in the village. Online, it's big, it's worldwide, but you're alone with your computer, you know. But, you know, with the visibility as well, you need, again, to be thrown into the world, but digitally. So how did you do that?
Social media is a minefield. At first, it was, wow, what is this? I'm fortunate because my sister works in social media. So when I first started the business, it was, okay, right, I really did use her to soak up the knowledge. And now I feel like, I'm getting there. I'm learning things every day. I make sure that I join so many different groups. You know, there's so many groups out there on social media as well, that social media management, that, you know, you can join their group on Facebook, and they will give you so much knowledge, and you know, just build your confidence. I think confidence on social media is key, and consistency is also key. Believing in the message, your brand message, believing in and knowing the message that you want to get out to the people on your followers on social media is absolutely key, because you can't be promoting one thing and then saying another thing, you know. So you've got to be consistent with the message that you send out. But yeah, social media is something that I'm learning every single day, and I just make sure that I either read up on things, put myself in groups. You know, I was on a group last week, and there was a challenge, and it was just based on engagement, and that's something that I know I should be doing more of. But sometimes life is so busy, and you've got your business, and you're answering emails, and, you know, and you're putting out your social media posts, and then getting on with life, that you forget to engage. And it just made me realize, actually, you know what, I need to be making time to do this more often. I know it in my mind, but it's worth it, you know. Set aside. So I set aside an hour each day now, in the morning, to just do my engagement, my posting, and then I will come back to it back in the evening once the kids have gone to bed. But yeah, it's being consistent. It's also, I would say, the biggest thing is is learn. You know, just keep learning. There's a wealth of information out there that is so accessible. So it's just putting yourself in the right groups and soaking up that knowledge. And don't be afraid to ask for help. So if you can't do it and you're really, really scared of it, there are social media managers that you can actually give your whole social media to help you run it. So don't be afraid to ask for help. And again, if you can't do it, then outsource.
Yeah, that's absolutely good advice. That's true. And yeah, and be part of communities online, like on Facebooks. But you know, how do you find the right groups for yourself? Because you know, you said there is a lot of information out there, but it's sometimes I talked about it in previous podcasts, and sometimes it's overwhelming.
Yes, it can be. Yeah.
So how do you actually find the right one? Do you need to be lucky, or do you?
I'm the type of person, sometimes I can feel so overwhelmed, and I can feel like, I feel like, you know, sometimes you join a group, you think, I'm the new girl in school, you know, I've got to sit back and I can't say anything. A lot of the time I do spectate. So I sit back and I look at what the group's doing, the flow of it, and also make sure that you read the rules, because you don't want to piss anyone off.
Yes.
You know, so that's key. But yeah, I do like to, I think I'm like that in life, actually. I always like to monitor my surroundings before I go for it. And then if I think, actually, this group's not for me, based on what I'm seeing and the tone of it, I will exit. You know, but I give it time, because things can be so different. So I'm in a lot of groups, and some I'm not active in, and some I really am, because I feel comfortable, and I've met really nice women from there. You know, loads of them are mum groups, and you know, so yeah, I think it's give it time, monitor your surroundings, and don't put too much pressure on yourself. Don't feel like you need to be in so many groups to make your business successful. You could be in one group and it can, you know, provide you with all the knowledge that you need, that you don't need to just keep joining loads of groups. So yeah, just be wise of it.
That is true. I know you said earlier that because of Black Lives Matter, the movement, you decided, okay, that's the right time for me to launch this business. But this movement appeared right in the middle of COVID-19, sadly. Didn't stop people to go and march in the street. No. I did it with my daughter. She's almost 6. We were in the street and we're shouting.
Oh my God, good on you.
I was so proud of her, and she was like, Black Lives Matter. And then every time we walk in the streets now and we see like a sign still in the windows, or like this sign, you know, with the fist up, she was like, I know this sign, Black Lives Matter, Mommy.
Oh, bless her. Yeah, that's...
Well, she's mixed race, so I want her to fight for her rights as well, so, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, going back on the topic, did it not scare you that maybe it was not the right time? Because obviously, yes, it was the right time, because people were seeking, you know, Black-owned businesses, and that was the whole topic. But were you not scared with the market crashing and all of this, that was not the right moment for you?
Yes, absolutely. Petrified, you know, petrified. And the fact that I could be just sinking money into something that, you know, but with anything that you do, there's always a risk attached. So and with anything, I get imposter syndrome, you know, like crazy. I always think, oh my God, I'm not good at this, oh my God, I'm not good at that. So yeah, I had the fear it wasn't going to work, but again, I spoke to people, I did my market research, and it was something that people wanted. And also I thought I could try. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. I'm not going to beat myself up. But what I will do, if I don't try it, I will beat myself up if I didn't try it, because it will be the what if, you know, what could have happened if it was successful. So I never like to live life with regrets. I am safe, but I never like to live life with what if, what would have happened, you know. So yeah, you've got to just try.
Yeah. And did it impact you? Did you see a difference? Did you have any setbacks or?
No, we've been really lucky actually. Been really lucky. Launch went smoothly. Web designer was able to get everything done, you know, on time. We launched with vendors, which I didn't think was. I set myself a target to launch with vendors, you know, but I didn't know whether people would want to trust us just yet because we were brand new. You know, we had just come out of nowhere. And we launched with vendors, and the support and the feedback has just been phenomenal. It's actually blown me away because it's been more than what I actually anticipated. And I didn't think it was going to be so soon. You know, I thought, I mean, with anything, it takes time, and we're still we're still a baby, we're still growing. But the support has been amazing. I've had so many people reach out and want to help and want to get the message out, and I've had so many influencers use their platform to speak about us. So yeah, it's been great. That it has been overwhelming, but yeah, it's been great.
One last question. I know baby is up and about.
Oh, could you hear her?
So cute. That was good timing because we're almost done. Don't worry. The last question I always ask is, what do you think about success, and how do you feel about it?
I think success is definitely down to the person. Everyone's got their own interpretation of success. I think you need to be truly happy in yourself. I remember when I was in corporate, and success for me was my commission at the end of the day, and the salary, and earning a massive amount of salary. That was my success, and that's what I felt made me happy. Actually, it's not. For me, it's not. It's about my kids, seeing my kids happy, seeing my husband happy, and seeing my household happy. Also, success is achieving my goals. So I create mini goals for myself. I've got my weekly goals, I've got my monthly goals, and I've got my yearly goals. And at the end of each month, if I've achieved my goals, that makes me a success. But also, it's about my well-being and happiness. So I was chasing in the corporate world, chasing the money. Did that make me successful? It made me really sick. You know, and without your health, you can't be successful. So I always try and put my health at the forefront of everything. I can't do everything at once. So I try and look after myself, you know, and if I can look after myself, make myself happy, nurture my mind, make sure that I have the right mindset, and well mentally, then that will make me a success. So yeah, I think it's just looking after yourself and well-being.
Yeah, and I love what you said about the mini goals, you know, it can be daily, it can be weekly, it can be even, you know, after New Year's Eve, and you say, okay, that's my goals this year. But yeah.
I mean, also like, as well as my daily, I sometimes do hourly goals, you know, and that's just little goals for me to make it, you know, to enable me to obviously reach my targets, but it also, it makes me happy once I'm able to put a tick next to something, you know, it fills you with something. So always pat yourself on the back as well. I think people don't do that a lot, you know, pat yourself back on the back, give yourself a high five, you know, if you've managed to achieve something that, you know, it could be, it's just for you, just give yourself, make sure, don't forget to praise yourself and give yourself a high five, because it's so important. You know, and if people think, why is she congratulating herself, that's minuscule in comparison to what other people are doing. It's your goal, so don't look at what other people are doing, and if it's for you, then, and it's what makes you happy and it's success for you, then yeah, give yourself a pat on the back.
Well, that was great. That was great talking to you today. Very inspiring. Absolutely amazing what you're doing for the Black community in the UK. Maybe you'll do it worldwide. You know, maybe you'll have people from all around the globe. Thank you so much for your time as well.
Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. And sorry for rambling. I'm so tired. I've had like 4 hours of sleep. So
no, you were perfect. Yeah, your baby was sick last night. You said off camera earlier, and you did so good. You look beautiful, like refreshed. So don't worry, you were great.
I've hidden it behind all this makeup. Thank you.
Don't worry. Thank you so much, and I'll speak to you later.
Thank you.
Bye.
Voila, that's the end of this episode, and I want to thank Grace for telling her story. Please share it on your social media, and it might reach someone who will feel inspired to follow their dream, no matter what crazy pandemic we're in. Don't forget, life is short. Live it to the fullest.